I'm setting this up so that I can try and stream in preparation for a RPG game that we'll be running through here. So this is my test. Take 2, because the first one you couldn't hear a damn thing I was saying. So good luck to me. I'm going to stream a little bit of Shadowrun Dragonfall. If you don't know me, that's perfectly okay, because why would you know me? My name is Matt. I've been a Shadowrun fan for a long time, and I was the lead writer on Mercurial, and one of the guys working on Vox Populi. So, that's me. Anyway, let's get this going. I'm going to be doing a lot of talking to myself, which is fine. I don't feel judged for that. I talk to myself even when you guys aren't there. But we're going to go ahead and we're going to go through Mercurial. And I'm going to play on easy mode. Just because I may have been through this game a few hundred times. Usually when I play through a game, I like to play through as a charismatic character. So we're going to make a Decker named Jill. I'm going to go for the punk haircut. Now, one of the complaints that lots of people had was that your characters suck when they start out. And you're not wrong. They suck a lot. That sucks. In fact, pretty much everybody who goes along with you sucks as well. So there's kind of a lot going on. Now, one of the things we tried to write into here was that all of the etiquettes, they all show up in the game, and constantly, like, there'll be throwaway conversations where if you're in a gang, then you get a different response than if you're a socialite or a shadowrunner. The doghouse. The doghouse is our opening scene. It's a made-up thing, doesn't exist anywhere. The original Mercurial module is by Tom Dowd and Paul Hume, and it's the second one. But somebody had already done the very first ones. I want to say Silver Star. I don't remember that off the top of my head. It's been years since I did any research for early Shadowrun. But we needed like a home base and a way to kind of kick off your character. We wanted to just drop you into Mercurial, just the U93 scene, which would have been cool, but you wouldn't have had any, you just would have had default gear, which can be kind of buggy, and you wouldn't have had any sort of skills to flesh out your character, and kind of no idea what was going on in the story. So we wanted to introduce yourself, your crew, and the doghouse. It was going to be the rat house, or the rat trap, but there was no rat model in Dragonfall. There was only the dogs. So it became the doghouse, and we have a little Snoopy thing on the wall over there. One of the reasons that we made it the doghouse instead of U93 is because in U93 it uses your character's name in the loading text, which is not impossible to do, but you can't do it for an opening scene because you have to set a variable. You can't call a expanded text without setting it. So I'm a Decker. I don't need to talk to this person. You're going to see a lot of the Decker options as we go through this. This dude over here is a street Decker. Gives you a free SB because why not? These Lone Star guys are supposed to. They're looking for some lost comrades. All these NPCs have. There's like 8 random things that they can say. The major NPCs have something individual to say. El Gacha is our local drug dealer, and he responds with the correct Spanish amigo or amiga based on your character's apparent gender. All these guys talk. Now, I love Stuffer Shack. I've run hundreds and hundreds of scenarios of Stuffer Shack. It used to be our default scenario when people would make new characters. We would start a new campaign, we would start with new players, and then it was determined that everyone had to run Stuffer Shack. So in the original Stuffer Shack scenario, Food Fight, you go into a 7-Eleven, Stuffer Shack, and it's kind of a role-playing opportunity because, why is your character there? But basically you're there for 90 seconds and then shit goes down. And there's gangers that come hold the place up. We've run hundreds of variations of it because we got really bored of doing just the same thing over and over again. It's a good default scenario. Make sure that your badass street samurai has armor, or you bought bullets for your guns, because that's something even veteran players do, where they think, yeah, I made this character 100 times, and then they make their character and forget to put something in there. So we ran it hundreds of times, including one where a mage is controlling ghouls, or the third edition one where a mother comes in the front and a bomb goes off in front of the building. And so when Dave, Dave of Death, the other programmer that worked with me on Stuffer Shack and Mercurial and Vox Populi, when we put it together, we built a bunch of different scenarios in on top of each other. I should probably preface this by saying in the Shadowrun workshop, the original Stuffer Shack, that one's mine. It has 6 scenarios built on top of each other, one for each difficulty level. And there was no way to auto set difficulty at that point, so we had to get clever, and we did it based on your character's armor. So if you import a character with 8 points of armor, you get the most difficult scenario. And then if you play with just a starting brand new character, you can get a piece of armor and you can replay it. It reloads the scene and as the second scenario. So you can actually play through all of them in a row. But we were pretty proud of ourselves. Jordan and Mitch did a playthrough of it, and just gave me all sorts of happy feelings. I had the opportunity to meet Jordan and Mitch, and they are just awesome guys. They say not to meet your heroes, and that line ended up in Mercurial because we met them, which was pretty cool. We met them at PAX in a few years ago now, 2015, 2016. So anyway, Mercurial very much reads, the adventure itself reads like an adventure written by 2 different people. One part of it is kind of investigatory, and one part of it is kind of running gunfight through the Barrens. So we tried to seed elements that were in the second half into the first half. Snout is one of those. In the module, he shows up like halfway through and betrays you, and you have the option to kill him. We didn't want to do that because you would obviously kill whoever betrayed you. But if it's a character that you've been getting information from, we thought that would make him much more sympathetic. So you can talk to him. We also said, oh yeah, there's this house that the doghouse. Why would this be empty? And it's because everybody inside got, So you can wander through all of these areas. There's this little inspect gate down here. Like this street artist, if you're a ganger, she says something different if you actually have like gang tats and stuff. This lady over here is crazy. But what she said is kind of fortune cookie insightful. This dude is straight up crazy. I don't think we ever changed him off of the default picture. This street samurai metal chin dude is the default picture for NPCs when you put them in. So you'll get this sometimes. We put it in here for him on purpose just because that was funny. And you have this dwarf over here selling rat bits. Now, all of the major playtesters and developers show up in the game. We all have a character that's in there. Beta over here. This is Jason's guy. It was our default tester character. So she ran around the whole game hundreds and hundreds of times. And we just put her in this first scene. She's only in this first scene. When you come back later, she's not standing there. We use the doghouse as a hub so that we could have kind of an area that you return to. In the pen and paper version of Mercurial, you have a choice between kind of your existing street DOS and a fancier place. Did I get... Let me double check, make sure I actually got the assault rifle skill before I spent all that money. Nope, pistol. I already got one of those. Alright. I will go buy some armor though. Because armor is one of the most useful things in the entire game. So let's upgrade that. That's fine, I'll pay. So if we were going to make this again with Hong Kong, because we have rat models now, it would end up as the rat trap, not the doghouse. Because the idea was it would be like a terrible base, because there's only one way in and out. You want multiple exits. This hangman's joke is just... we want to expand on as many things as possible. So we just let everybody got to name all sorts of things and come up with plot ideas, like over here, the medical drone, there's like blood stains and there's like signs of a scuffle, and go back and buy stuff and get cyberware, but I'm just using default character. And now you can enable cheats and give yourself a ton of money and get all good equipment and cyberware to start with. But if you already know how to do that, you're good. You don't need me to show you how. And if you haven't, then just play the game and enjoy it. So this is Mike, one of our playtesters, actually came up with this character. He wanted a spirit that you could interact with that made nonsense sensical. So the air spirit can't speak to you because I'm a decker, but it just isn't good at communicating. So you can buy a scent from it, and like let's say we get the rose, and it's like, okay, give me power. You can make a whoosh noise, or tell them your name, or say, oh yeah, here's Nguyen. In this, he had already knocked the cred stick from your hand. I believe he destroys your cred stick. Yep. Burns it, freezes it, cracking open the melted plastic and electronics. Good thing you got a couple of spare cred sticks in that stash link to the account. So he'll wander off. Now, after you talk to, when you talk to Silver Arrow, he gives you the battery out of the security system. And this is the doghouse with Snoopy looking all crazy and Shadowrun on a doghouse with guns on it, just because I thought it was funny. And one of the hardest things when you're making a game, even a mod like this one, is to develop your first level so that it's not impossible for new players. You run into that second level problem where your first level you will try very hard to make sure that it's accessible for new players, that they can make mistakes and still survive. Your second level, you've played it 9,000 times at least. If you're lucky, it's only 9,000 times. It's probably a million. So there's a dog over there if you can't see him. But I'm going to steal this stuff first. So we made just some throwaway characters, Ronald and Reggie, I think it was. They're not based off of anyone's characters, at least not that I'm aware of. It was just one of those things that we had. We needed a name and we wanted something kind of distinctive, but that was just throwaway. So this version has the one dog. Originally there were 3 dogs, and they would just maul. In the editor, there's Superhero, who's super tough. So everyone would just get mauled by these 3 things, or these 3 dogs, while you were fighting, because I mean, Superhero could fight it, and Superhero is like a 900 karma character as opposed to my 38 karma Decker right here. So you can access your stash back here. Wander around, look at everything in the doghouse. Now, the second that you defeat the dog and keep wandering around, I think you get, there's like 3 rounds before Silver Arrow shows up. So that little blue dot is on Silver Arrow. Let's go meet our Decker, Chummer. Now, one of the problems we had was we needed to seed a lot of information into this opening scene. So we need to tell you about Puyallup and kind of what's going on, what the world is like, who Mercurial is, in case you didn't know. And one of the ways that we did that is over here in the corner you have a TV that kind of spouts like entertainment news. And Silver Arrow tells you some more. But if you know lots about Shadowrun, and you might or might not, I tried to make everything that he says factual to the actual world. So Saratech was part of the decision that created Megacorps. They're the people who shot people in New York, and they were like, hey, it was for their own good. And then we have, like he says, Chummer all the time, because the instructions we were given. Mercurial was a project with a lot of hands on it, so we've had a couple of directors. And this was someone's personal character that they wanted in the game, and the direction was that they say Chummer and they don't like Indians. I wrote that in as American Indians. He calls them Indian givers. I don't know if it was supposed to be more specific than that or less specific than that. But yeah, so he says Chummer pretty much every conversation bottle. He says it once. I'm not gonna answer the door. I don't know who that's supposed to be. It's 10:30 on Saturday. Leave me alone. Okay. All right. Let me. I'm gonna go ahead and pause this.